All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harakakodash. A double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to Yakim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. And now this lesson is going to be on the Great Destruction, man. It was also known as the Second Death. I have an article from the RT that I want to get into, but the first precept I want to grab is starting from the book of Revelation 11 and 14, and it reads, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." And we understand what the second woe is speaking of, what World War II, and the third woe that's coming quickly is World War III, right? And understanding that America will be the victim of receiving those thermonuclear missiles, man. And there's gonna be other parts of the world that's also hit with them, but America is going to be that lake of fire spoken of in the scriptures, you know. So let's get into it. This is from the RT. It says North Korea tests missile capable of striking U.S. The long-range missile test comes after Pyongyang said U.S. South Korean drills were a preview of nuclear war, right? Because ultimately, Yahweh Shemi Shai is, preparing war. As the scripture says, wake up the mighty men. But this is Psalm 7. I want to grab this really quick. This Psalm 7 and 11 says, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. Whet means to sharpen, right? And that's what he's doing. And the sword in which it's speaking about are the instruments of the Lord's indignation, which are the thermonukes, the ICBMs. It says he hath bent his bow, right, and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors, right? And the prophets could only describe, the technologically advanced visions they were receiving by the words and the things that they had in that time, So when the scriptures speak of the arrows being shot from one end of the earth into the other, it's not speaking of a physical arrow, but it's speaking about the thermonuclear missiles, man, from one end of the world. And that's what that scripture says. It says like the arrow of a strong man shot from one end of the world to the other. It's not speaking about an actual wooden arrow, but it's speaking of the same action of that silo being or a missile being shot out of the silo, man. That's why also when ICBM malfunctions, they call it a broken arrow, right? But it says he hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He hath ordained his arrows against the persecutors, right? So when we go back to here, it says North Korea has fired a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile that is capable of striking any target in the mainland U.S. Japanese defense officials have said it is Pyongyang's latest missile launch to have drawn international condemnation as tensions flare on the Korean peninsula. This is the missile launched, which is today, Monday, December 18th, time 11:24 p.m. It says traveled for 73 minutes and covered about 1,000 kilometers. Tokyo's defense ministry said it reached a maximum altitude of more than 6,000 kilometers and fell into waters west of Hokkaido Island, right? And this is spiritual, because when I read the time, ultimately understanding Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is fully controlling everything. The scripture that says, matter of fact, I'm going to grab it out of the book of Revelation 18 chapter, because ultimately the Lord is going to have it where these missiles, are fully perfected. And that's when, after prophecies of the MOTB are done or came to pass, and people have received that charagma, because the missiles is the last part of prophecy, last part of destruction of the prophecy, along with the chariots, the host of heaven, and Yahweh Shai coming back and destroying. That's the last prophecy other than the elect being beamed up and not tasting of that indignation, that fiery indignation, but being saved from the second death, But when it says 73 minutes, I was thinking, whoa, that's scriptural. We're getting closer and closer into that complete hour. Now, 73 minutes is over an hour, but the scripture tells us, and I'm going to grab it in Revelation 18 chapter, It says 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Right? So they're saying 73 minutes. So, hey, the Lord could just have them tighten it up to where it's underneath that hour. Or even if it is the 73 minutes. You have countries that's closer who are going to be shooting off their stuff too. Right? So, nevertheless, man, hey, the Lord isn't playing about the time in which the Babylon is going to receive that judgment. Right? But let's go back. Matter of fact, I want to get Revelation. I believe it's the 9th chapter, where it speaks about as a lion. So like it. Here we go. Yeah, this is Revelation 9. I'm going to read a little bit more, and I'm going to go into the 16th verse down. It says, Japan's Parliament Vice Minister of Defense said the missile had a potential range of 15,000 kilometers. Whoo, that's crazy. It says in which case the whole of the U.S. territory would be within range. You know, that's ultimately, because we understand the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai. You know, his fiery indignation, his hatred is going to be upon these missiles as well. Because the scriptures tell us, they shall not break rank, right? Each missile is going to be designated with a specific global positioning system, a longitude and latitude that's going to hit every specific or every place that the Lord has marked for it to be. You know, if you wanted to hit off the coast of San Diego, you know, guess what? It's going to hit exactly there. And we understand the land of America as a whole, it will be desolate. But, you know, there's going to be other parts of the world, you know, that will be untouched by thermonuclear fire. Nevertheless, it's still going to be troubles, you know, all around the world. It says it was the second suspected launch because the scripture tells us that the earth abided forever. So the whole earth will not be destroyed. It says it was the second suspected launch by North Korea in a matter of hours and comes after Pyongyang vowed to take more offensive countermeasures. In response to a meeting between U.S. and South Korean defense officials last week, at the meeting in Washington on Friday, both nations agreed to a war game, the use of nuclear weapons and drills expected to take place next summer. The arrival of a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine in South Korea on Sunday, which comes amid expanding military drills and collaborations between the allies, was rebuked by the North as a preview of a nuclear war, which it was said was being conducted by hostile forces. It says both countries attempt to use armed forces against the DPRK, the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea, will face a preemptive and deadly counteraction. Let's see. I'm just jump down to the point. It says a spokesperson for the U.S. Department said these launches, like the other ballistic missile launches Pyongyang has conducted this year, are in violation of multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions. And it's funny, you know, because it's always an American saying what another country broke, you know, what another country did is a violation, you know, when America violates every rule and regulation that these countries have set up for themselves, man. Much like that nuclear treaty between them and I believe the Iranian nuclear deal. You know, America was the first one to point fingers at Iran, saying, "Oh, well, they're beefing up their uranium-235 production," but America pulled out the deal first and beefed up theirs. So how can you then get on Iran for doing it when you did it first? See, this is the hypocrisy of America. That's why all the nations are sick of this place, man. Everybody's sick of this place. Now I want to grab Revelation 9 and 16. It says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. That's 200 million. It says, and I heard the number of them. And it's speaking of, you know, the missiles. It says, and thus I saw the horsemen in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire. And it's going into a description of the missiles. It says having breastplates of fire and of jacinth. Jacinth is red. You know, breastplates of fire is going into basically the nuclear explosion, right? It's giving you a physical, description of the explosion and basically the power, right? Because it says, and brimstone, which we understand a brimstone, fire and brimstone was used as a tool in the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah for them being completely disobedient and wicked, full of sin. A same thing you see in today's society, right? Being repeated. Yahweh Shem Shai sent forth fire and brimstone upon that nation because of that. Or it's like the Sodom and Gomorrah in the scripture says a neighboring 5 cities, right? It says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, right? And the head of the lion is the most powerful part of that animal, man, because within that head is what that bite force. It's PSI, which is the bite per square inch, pounds per square inch, right? It says, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths, right? It says, for their power is in their mouth, right? Speaking of the head or the warhead of that missile. It says, and in their tails, for their tails like unto them serpents, right? Because the tail is the propulsion, the fuel is in the back, right? It says, for their tails were like unto them, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And that's the point, So it's going into, those missiles being used and shot off. And now we also understand what the scripture says in the book of Joel 2, about it's as a horseman, in formation, Matter of fact, I'm just grab it. There's Joel 2, and I'm going to start at 3. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and a flame, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, right? A paradise, right? And behind them, what? A desolate wilderness. Because that's going to be the effect of that destruction. When you see how the U.S. drops bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it literally burned people's shadows into the concrete, right? A similar thing is going to happen here. It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoured the stubble, as a strong people said in battle array. And that's not speaking of a physical army, but of the formation of the missiles. It says, before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Meaning they're not going to bump into each other and explode into the air. It says, neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one upon his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. It says, they shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And that's due to what? Those numerous mushroom clouds being pushed into the air. Because you have multiple various nukes that are being created. You have some that explode, above the atmosphere. You have some that penetrate into the ground and then explode. You have some that detonate before they hit the ground, But nevertheless, the scriptures say that earth shall quake before them. The scripture says the earth shall move to and fro like a drunkard. And this is due to that power of all these nukes being shot here, right? It says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executed his word. For the day of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Right? We understand the scripture says, the Most High will not acquit the wicked, which means what? America is going to receive the destruction, which it worked up for. The scriptures tell you in Revelation 18 that what? For her sins have reached into heaven, and Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai have remembered her iniquities. So this is all just playing into prophecy, man. And as you see right here, it says 73 minutes, but for other nations that's closer, it's going to be less than that. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to even have them tighten up this time. But I just want to bring forth this lesson to the body, Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushai, B'Hashem, Harakakodash, and double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to you again, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.